Can I taste your juice?
Hey folks, P. Basardo. All right, so if you came from part one of the video, we did a little bit of the interview. We saw the Ashtabula assembly facility, but now we get to see the Akron assembly facility, which is by far much more impressive, okay? And then we'll finish off the interview at the end of this video. So let's get to it, and let's see how one of these gets made, or something like this. So we were just in the other assembly facility,
right?
Okay, and where are we now?
Now we're at Evolve North or South.
we're in the Akron plant now.
Yeah, the Akron plant.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's I've been in there. You got some pretty interesting stuff to look at. So let's walk through it.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Well, this is our packaging area.
Okay.
Right here. Where we do all the packaging. So sending stuff out. People are having lunch right now.
Okay, it's lunch break. So you do let people have lunch?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
After 16 hours. Yeah, we've got just regular soldering stations here. This is where you would do rework and things like that. These are pick and place machines. This is our main line here. It's a fully automated line from end to end.
So Kevin is going to walk. And Kevin, what's your title here?
Production process engineer.
Production process engineer. Okay. So walk us through what happens here. A lot of magic going on. This is the first step of the process here. You're going to load up some boards. All right.
So we order the blank boards and they come in like this.
Okay, now the boards aren't made here, right? So where are the boards made?
In the U.S.
Okay. So how many total can we set up for automation?
Right now, from here to here, we can put 38.
Now each panel has how many boards on it?
On the Ennekins, it's 32 per
32.
Panel.
So about 1,200 boards.
Yeah, 1280.
Okay, so once that's like basically you're loading up a cartridge, right? Yep. That's going to get put back in that machine, and then off they go down the line.
We go through this conveyor here, the stencil printer.
Okay.
And what the stencil printer does is just put solder paste back and forth, kind of like screen printing. We'll just go ahead and sneak this one in.
Right, so there we go. It's kind of squeegeeing the solder paste on there.
Through the stencil.
All right.
And if we watch here, it'll inspect all the pads that we have selected. What it's looking for areas with lighter paste,
Okay.
so it's doing the inspection rather than doing it by inspecting.
So now, if there's any issues at this point, will the line stop?
Yes.
Okay. And then if it passes, it will go on to the next stage, right?
Yep.
Okay. And there it goes. To the next monster here.
This is a pick and place machine.
Okay.
So all the electronic parts that go on this are in the reels here.
Yep.
So these ones have two different kinds.
Okay. So this is the machine that's actually taking all the components on the reels and placing them onto the board.
Correct.
And doing it unbelievably fast too. So these are not movie reels, folks. These are there's no film here. These are all components on the reels that go onto the boards. So this machine here, how many parts is that putting down?
By spec, it'll do 36,000 parts an hour. Realistically, somewhat less because it's got time to feed boards in and out and whatnot. The new one we have coming will do 70.
Okay.
So a lot.
30,000 parts per hour. Cool. Then they let me stick the board camera in there. And that strobing that we see there, it's actually taking photos as well, right? To line everything up?
And like this machine, if it can't find the part or orient the part right, it'll come up here and reject it and try again.
Okay.
But here we can tell like, how fast the boards will go through. So we got a little bit more time before this one comes out.
Okay. The boards actually go through twice.
Yes.
Right. So there's components on both sides of the boards. What's the number of components on each one of the we'll say the Innokin board or the DNA boards?
There's about 50 parts per board, and there's on the Innokin boards there are about 32 per panel, so about 1,600 components per panel.
So, okay, and that works out to what per board now?
About 50.
The board will eventually come out there, or the panel will come out there, and then we go into this big long machine right here.
Yeah, and this is the reflow oven. Starts off with like a low temp and kind of builds its way up.
Okay. So what does a reflow oven do?
All the solder paste that we put through the Semta printer,
Yep.
it melts that and solders all the components to the board.
Okay. All right, so this panel is about to come out now. Oh, there it goes. And now it's going to get soldered up in the oven.
And then we should see this pop up. Yep.
Okay, so it shows it on the line too.
Yep. And we should just get another thing like that.
So that zone 1, does that mean it's done? Or
This
is that cooling down?
Zone. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's 2 zones of cooling.
Okay.
And there's the new one.
And there's that one coming in.
Once it goes to the 2 cooling zones, transfer to here. This will stack, I believe, 30 of them in there.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a buffer.
It's a buffer. Okay.
And then we have finished board, tops of these boards down here.
Okay. And then these boards just come out, and then they go to the next step in the process. Here, look, there it comes. Okay. Do they ever fall on the floor?
Nah, it's
Don't lie. Okay. So now at this point, when these boards come out, they're not programmed. They won't do anything, right?
That's correct.
So we still have to program the boards.
Right.
And that's
So
where we're going next, right?
They come off of here, go over the program.
Okay. Okay, so this is an interesting rig here, and this is your programming rig, right?
Program and test.
Programming and test. Okay. So now that test we saw in assembly, is that like a second line of testing?
Yeah,
or?
that's the final test before they get packed up and go out the door.
Okay. So the entire board is actually tested twice then?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So now at this point, this machine is going to program all the boards and test them as well, right? So we have a whole set of new boards here, right? And let's go ahead and see what happens when you click go. So first of all, what do we see on the screen?
You see the previous board. I'm going to go ahead and start the process with another panel.
Okay.
We keep track of the board number so we can troubleshoot anything that happens in-house.
Okay.
After that, hit OK. Right now the camera is reading 3 small circles on the board to center itself.
So it's aligning them?
yeah, it's aligning itself
right?
on the fiducials,
Okay, and then we go.
and the magic happens.
And it's actually that quick to program each board.
That's programming 3.
3 at a time.
3 boards at a time.
If you watch the screen, it'll show you in the panel which ones are good. If there's a bad one, it'll show them.
Okay, so this area here, that's our whole panel, right? And this is each board. So green means good, right?
Green is good.
Okay. And this whole rig, you guys basically you came up with the rig, you programmed it.
Yeah, this is actually a piece of custom automation that we made specifically for programming and testing DNAs. Yeah, the heads are custom, the software is custom, the motion control is custom.
So that's it, that panel is good to go?
This panel's good to go.
That goes there?
It goes there before
Okay.
it gets masked.
And on to the next one. The software and everything needs to change as you go from, DNA 30s to the Innokin product, or is this where everything happens here?
This is yeah. So this software, if you see back here, I could move it around.
That alignment process is really interesting.
But actually, almost all of the machines do that, because when you're running a very, very small components and tight pitch boards.
Yeah.
Everything pretty much has to be aligned, and the only way you can really align that accurately enough is with a vision system. Like you couldn't use tooling pins because they might be drilled slightly off or whatever. Whereas the copper is etched onto the board just like the circuit pads are, so you know that those are exactly in the same spot relative to the circuit pads every time.
Right.
So those are called fiducials, and pretty much everything here uses fiducials in one way or another. And there's a variety of different DNA 30 variants, DNA 20 variants, DNA 15's another thing. DNA Go is not something we're talking about yet. But yeah, so what you do if you're switching programs is you load up.
Basically click one of those, right?
Yeah, you load up a different one, and then there are other programming heads.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Okay. So not all your pins and everything and components are going to be lined up the same,
Right.
so you're going to have to use a different head for
This
what?
is programming head for Kick 2.
Okay.
So if you see how it's sort of circular and
Yeah.
so you just put a different programming head on, run it through the calibration routine, and away you go. It's about 20 minutes to change the setup over.
Okay.
right.
So the board's programmed. Where do we go from here? We go to this guy. And what are we doing?
All right, basically in preparation for conformal coating on both sides of the panel, we apply a masking material in order to protect the components that don't need conformal coating.
Okay,
And
let's talk about conformal coating.
All right.
What is conformal coating?
Conformal coating is a coating that inhibits moisture development. Also, it protects the circuit from overheating. And basically it's just a protective coating, just like
Okay.
any other coating.
Okay, so that's going to make it liquid proof,
That is correct.
right?
That is correct.
Okay. All right, so this is going to mask the areas that don't need that coating, right?
Correct, such as the holes
Okay.
and the various test points.
Okay.
Because if you get conformal coating in those areas, you won't have an adequate connection.
Okay.
It's very difficult to solder.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And this will run 4 panels at a time, obviously?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
And right now I'm just skipping the other 3 just to give you a quick synopsis of the one. And you'll notice that the masking material is applying in the whole pattern. And you'll see the bottom holes there being masked as well. And the same thing happens on the other reverse side.
So to the untrained eye, that is very accurately applying Elmer's glue.
Correct.
Okay.
It's associated with Elmer's. But it's a lot easier to get off than Elmer's glue.
Okay, so this actually does come off.
Yes, it does.
You're right.
Once it dries and we have coated and cured it through the oven, then this is a peel away masking.
Okay.
All we do is just peel it right off.
The whole thing comes off.
Yep.
Okay. Very cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
This is our conformal coating area.
Okay.
What happens is we apply our conform,
Okay.
via spray gun, and it can be either air cured or oven cured.
Oven cured, right.
We normally, in order to expedite the process, we'll oven cure it.
Okay.
Which eliminates our downtime as far as the product actually sitting.
Right. So how long would it have to sit, air curing versus oven curing?
Air curing, you're looking for our conformal coating about an hour to be tack dry.
Okay.
Normally it's about 20 minutes to go through our oven cure
Okay.
process.
So the oven speeds everything
It
up.
reduces our process time
Okay.
bit by bit. And
And so this basically just gets sprayed on the boards,
yes,
right?
we just use an ordinary spray gun.
Yep.
Load the material in here.
Okay.
Seal it up. There's our air line. Of course, we use our respirator for protection, personal protection
Yep.
equipment.
Now I heard Brandon likes to do this without the respirator on. Is that-
Yeah, just on the weekends.
This is the oven we use primarily for curing our masking and our conformal coating.
Okay.
We have various profiles depending on what operation we're performing. Whether we're curing the conformal coating, it's a bit lower temperature. The actual masking is a bit higher temperature.
Okay.
So it'll run through, enter that in, come out this end, and this will be a finished product as far as the masking on one side.
Okay.
Now, you'll notice that the masking is only on one side.
Right.
Okay, we must dry thoroughly the first side before we can start masking the second side.
So you do both sides then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do. Now this is the top side of the board. Eventually, we will have a process whereby we will mask the bottom and the top within the same process, and then conformal coat it and cure it.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is going to go back to you now.
This will go
for
back
the other
to me.
side.
Right.
Okay. What's your name?
Robert Quayes.
Robert. How long have you been here at Evolve?
I've only been here about what, 3 or 4 months. That's about
3 or
all.
4 months?
Right.
Okay. How are they to work for so far?
So far, so good.
Don't lie, just because they're standing right next
So
to you.
far, so good.
Okay, good. Good.
No, I've worked at a lot of different places in electronic assembly, and this is an exciting opportunity and an exciting company to be with.
That's awesome. I like to hear that. Now, tell me the truth. Have you ever put a pizza through this oven?
No.
Okay. Just want to
No,
make
you
sure.
wouldn't want to do that.
All right. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate it. They came out of the oven. They're both sides are coated. What happens now?
Both sides are coated. Now, the masking has dried. And do we have one that's peeled, or you peeled them all?
I believe I peeled them all.
You peel them all. You ruined the best part of the video. That's what it looks like.
It kind of
though.
looks like that.
But you can see how it comes off.
Right.
It comes
Okay, and
off
it all comes off in like one strip. Is it easy to get off?
pretty much in one
Right.
strip. It
Okay.
depends on how thick the coating is and the viscosity of the material when it was applied.
Okay.
But normally it takes about maybe 5 to 10 seconds to take it off a board.
Okay.
Both sides.
Okay. So what happens now?
The circuit boards are slightly scored from our manufacturer in Colorado.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is use this machine to take off the edges and then score them again so they can be easily broken up.
Okay.
But I can adjust this machine so that way it scores it so it's a little malleable. I have one already here.
Okay.
So it's bendable, easy to pop off, but it'll stay in one piece.
Okay. So this is like probably a really expensive paper cutter, right?
It is.
Okay.
It is. Depanelizing is the technical.
So we've gone basically from something that's rigid and with edges to something that's kind of floppy.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, kind of floppy.
So that's easier to get those boards apart and be
Yeah.
used in the assembly process like we saw at the other
Yep,
facility.
pop
There
it
you
right
go.
off like that.
All right. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
All right. These are some ready for screens board. Actually, those boards down there have screens already. And if we take a look,
Yeah, these would be wheeled over from
look at
over
this.
there.
There's HANA boards. And look at that. There's Zen boards. I just happen to be using one of those right there. And now we've seen how they come together. So I just asked about this machine here because I haven't seen this one in use yet. And that's for the kicks?
Well, we did use it on the kicks. Use it for other things as well.
Okay.
Nothing to do with the DNAs. It's a selective solder machine.
Selective solder machine. Okay. And what does it do?
It actually solders points on a board, so on a PCB. So it panelized.
These are the kick boards. These are the kick tops.
Okay.
You can all these lines right here. It would start like right here, come
Right.
up to the board,
Okay.
move, come up to the board, move, come up to the board, and then draw off so it doesn't stick to the board.
Okay.
Then it would come back over here, come up, move over, come up, and then draw off the board again, and then it would go over here, and it just repeats that. So the machine's doing all that tedious work instead of a person sitting there
Right.
with an iron doing 50 kicks at a time. This will do a panel, and probably a fourth of the time a person can do it.
Okay. So to think of this in easy terms, this is a very expensive automatic soldering iron.
Yeah,
There you go. Right? Yep.
it's a lifesaver too.
Are you saying that you don't want to make all those solder points yourself? Is that what you're saying?
I use this machine all the time, and it's wonderful.
Awesome.
I mean, I don't mind hand soldering, but if you do it for 8 hours a day, this is the way to go.
Oh yeah, I bet. So that is pretty much a look at the DNAs and a little bit on the kicks and how everything gets assembled. This pretty impressive facility here.
And this this is if you can tell, this is one of my prototyping areas.
Oh,
So-
this has you written all over
Yeah.
it.
So all the other ones are nice and clean and
Yeah.
tidy. This sort of disaster means that
We'll show your workspace later on. Don't worry. Now I notice you guys have another line here.
Yep.
Okay. And now is the second line currently in use? Will it be put to use? Is this because of the Innikin deal?
It's not because of the Innikin deal. So the second line, some of these machines we have another machine that's actually twice as fast as this one coming in.
Okay.
It's not specifically because of the Innikin deal. We were putting that capacity on anyway, just because the industry's growing rapidly and we're growing even more rapidly.
With it, yeah.
But it sure doesn't hurt because the Innikin deal will eat up a bunch of boards.
Okay.
And we're happy to pump out more boards.
Okay. Now, do you see the Innikin deal taking away from the standard DNA output that you're able to do?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Not with the added line
Okay.
at all.
Okay. So there's no concerns to all the modders out there for that. No. Okay. Good. Good.
I mean, if anything, the Innikin deal gives us more capacity, so
You can grow more.
yeah, exactly.
Sure. Sure. This looks
This is
new.
brand new.
So
It's
this.
not even installed yet. Like
Okay.
the monitor goes there,
Right.
but this is exactly the same deal as the
Okay. So some of these new assembly machines, you're actually just buying them brand new then?
Well, even that one we brought brand new. The printer we brought brand new. The new pick and place we brought brand new because. Well, one of the things is you either get new machines when you need more speed, or you get new machines when you need smaller process. And it used to be e-cigarettes were sort of a little niche market where you could put big components on and no one would care. But one of the reasons we're getting the new machine is our 2 generations from now designs, the parts are so small you can't see them. So you need more and more expensive machines to place smaller and smaller parts. So that's definitely the direction things are going, and we're just going to keep on running with it.
So you are adding robotics to the assembly line as well,
Actually,
right?
yeah, we are. We've got one that's, if you come over this way, a lot closer to done.
Okay.
Not done, but closer.
You really got to be fast to follow this guy around.
So this elevator has the screens on it.
Okay.
So this robot has a camera. So you've got 2 suction cups that'll pick up screens and a gripper that'll pick up DNAs.
Okay.
So it'll pick up a DNA, use this camera to locate it more precisely, place it on that, pick up a screen, put it on that, run under the hotbar machine just like you saw
Okay.
on the other machine doing it manually, solder that, and then come over here, and if you look at this actually has little tiny pneumatic cylinders to hit the buttons.
Okay.
So the camera here will be over that, reading the screen, hitting the buttons. So this automates the process you saw where they put the screens on and test them, and then it'll come up, rotate around, put it over, and pack it.
Okay. So this whole robotic assembly here is basically going to
All this
automate.
does is put it on screens.
Okay. It's going to put on screens and test them too.
And put it on screens, test that the screen's working, do the final test, and pack them into the trays.
Okay. Cool. Oh, too bad we don't have this running. I like
Well-
robots. Of course, their robots are actually going to do something. Mine just kind of
Danger, Will Robinson.
not very useful, but it does make me smile. So anyway, there you go. That's a look at the Evolve facility there, making boards, making DNAs, making the Innikin boards, making the kicks. I certainly appreciate them letting me go in there and film everything for you guys. I found it extremely interesting. I hope you did as well. And let's go ahead and wrap up the rest of that interview. So pretty soon, I'm not going to be able to ask this question. At least I have a pretty good idea that pretty soon I won't be able to ask this question. But we are at a point in history when I can ask this question. Why do you not have reverse battery protection in your pieces, your boards?
It was a size decision. It was especially on the 20. 30, not as much, but
I would say it's because it's very, very easy to add external to our board. So if you're building a box mod with lithium batteries and a charger, you don't need it, because if you soldered it in backwards, that's not getting out into the field.
Right.
And I guess I was seeing that as responsibility of the mod makers, but I guess, and some of them have added it.
Should we have done it?
Should we have done it? Probably yes.
Okay.
But
I think that's respectable for you to say that. Yeah.
I think we should.
There were some comments about reverse battery protection, and part of the reason why you couldn't do it was because you lose battery monitoring if you do reverse battery. Is that true? Is any of that?
To an extent.
so, as an engineer, saying you couldn't do something that's a very strong statement. I would say nothing's necessarily impossible. There are things that are impractical with any particular time period's technology that's available. So as technology improves, we will be adding things that 2 generations ago we couldn't do or weren't practical to do or too big or too expensive.
We'll talk about FDA regulations. Okay. What do you think about the impending regulations? What steps are you taking to protect yourself from the regulations? What do you think?
I think it was inevitable. I was surprised it came so quick, and I'm surprised with a few of the things in there. The 2007 date is troublesome from a standpoint of the fact that there were no predicate products in 2007. That's hard to be substantially equivalent to anything in 2007. We have to go back to something that was substantially equivalent to what was available on the market in 2007. That means that any of the safety features that, for batteries or anything else that have come to light since 2007, which there's been an enormous amount of safety, especially in the battery arena and battery protection and even from an electronics standpoint, go out the window as well.
Yeah,
It's like saying, every car from this day forward has to be substantially equivalent to one without bumpers, seat belts, or airbags.
Yeah.
So is that really the best in the best interest of the vaping public? I mean,
That's a good point.
but I don't think it's a done deal. I mean, I think we have comments. We have a regulatory attorney who's writing comments for us, and we submitted. They're required by law to read those. Hopefully, they'll read it.
Right.
I can't imagine that the deeming regs and the actual regulations are going to look at all similar.
Right.
At least that's our hope. You hope that all the other companies out there are also preparing comments and making good arguments as to why they should. We're trying as Evolve to provide a framework for the FDA for regulation. That's one of the things that's in our comments through the use of technology. I mean, we come at this from a device side, from an electronics manufacturing side, from the device side, which there aren't, a ton of here in the U.S. So it's an interesting. It's an interesting question, but I don't know. I mean, we're all sort of fighting our own battle, but I don't know where it's going to go.
Okay. Do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, well, one of the things that, as Evolve with our comments, we're really trying to do is, I don't think the FDA really sees the mods, advanced devices, personal vaporizer space as, I don't think they trust us. I think they would be happier, and I think the path that they're initially going down is, well, this is a SIG-alike, it comes with juice A and battery B, and the whole thing's a device. And I hope we can not get cut down to that point, because at that point, innovation goes out the window, really decent user experience goes out the window. I hope you like tobacco flavored juice, because that's what you're going to get. So what we're trying to do is make a framework where you can have the open infrastructure that has really done so well for the industry, other than the big tobacco companies who aren't really playing with us. I hope we can preserve that and come up with a regulatory structure where you can get a juice approved statutorily by saying, well, all the components in this are safe within these guidelines. Bam, it's acceptable. If you can make a device and say, well, all the components in this follow these guidelines, bam, it's acceptable, rather than having to go through a $100 million clinical trial of blueberry flavored juice and a $100 million clinical trial of chocolate flavored juice, because that's just going to kill everything except tobacco-flavored juice coming from Archie Reynolds. Throw one other thought on that. The comment period ends August 8th, and if anybody wants to write a comment, that would be wonderful. More comments, more better.
Right.
If you're writing a comment, I would sort of ask that people don't write the comment that says, well, you can't regulate us because we're Americans or something, because one, yes they can. Two, their response is going to be, one, yes we can. And if the only comments that they get that are workable are comments coming from people who'd like everybody to be on cigalikes or cigarettes, then that's not useful. So give comments that the FDA can work with. They're not inherently the enemy. So much as they don't understand the market. So the more you can make them understand the market and understand the benefits of having an open mod-based system where you can take tank A and screw it into device B and have it work, the more you can help them understand that, understand why that's better. That helps our case. Saying, government, get off my property, I don't have to pay taxes in, I can vape on whatever I want, and that's not helpful.
Right.
So write comments, write lots of comments, write comments about things like how vaping's gotten you off of smoking, how long you... Right. How the cigalikes don't give enough vapor, they don't give enough runtime, they don't... that's, if you go just back to cigalikes, if you feel this way, and obviously don't let me put words in your mouth, but if you feel this way, write comments about how the mods will keep people from smoking, how they'll reduce harm in your opinion, how, because they really don't know anything about us. Their vision of an e-cigarette is a blue. And so if they only write comments that say, well, here's how you get a blue approved for the marketplace, we're dead. So the comment period is there so we can have our voices be heard, and let our voices be heard in a way that lets them do something with it.
Right.
So more comments, get them in before August 8th, and talk about what the open infrastructure, what the mods, what the big battery devices, what the whole diversity of the ecosystem does to help any of the things that they're worried about improving or regulating or keeping safe.
Okay, so Innokin. So we're going to talk a lot about Innokin tomorrow because we are going to have a little meeting with George. But how about a high level? Are you guys excited about the Innokin deal? What can you say about the Innokin deal? Talk to me a little bit about it.
It's a long time coming. I can tell you that. It was a long process.
Because I've known about this for a while, but as usual, I keep my mouth shut, right?
Which we appreciate.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about it.
We had a lot of requests. We get requests continuously to work with different companies, and we've gotten some from China. We made a decision to go to China, to spend some time there and just investigate. I mean, I without any expectation. I didn't expect to come back with a deal, and I didn't come back with it. What I came back with was more of a memorandum of understanding between ourselves and Innokin. Now, can I say I wasn't biased toward Innokin because I liked what they were doing? No, I can't say that because I did. I liked very much what they were doing. They didn't seem to copy anyone. Their designs were unique to them. And they were doing some innovative, interesting things. And I spent a lot of time there.
We also, from there and other things, had other companies that were also interested in doing a deal that we're not saying we're not willing to work with other companies other than Innokin over there, but we certainly had a few of them that we elected not to work with because one of the things that I personally really respect about Innokin is they don't knock people off. They come out with their own designs. Sometimes those designs, anytime you're coming out with all original stuff, sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a miss. We made a DNA 12, nobody bought it. But I really respect that the way they work compared to some clone type people that say, well, whatever's popular today, we'll just bang out a pale knockoff of it. I mean, I feel like Innokin's in it for the long haul. I feel like they're just, of the companies making devices in China, I would say they're the evolviest.
Yeah, I would
if
agree
I'm
with that.
coining a
I would
word.
agree with that.
Yeah, you touched on something there. So your deal with Innokin is not exclusive to Innokin in China, correct? So you will potentially, if it comes up, work with other vendors or manufacturers in China.
Yeah, the products we're custom making for Innokin are exclusive to Innokin.
Right. Okay. So you won't put that board in anybody else, but
That's correct.
any other manufacturer, not only in China but here in the U.S., anybody is welcome to come with you and work with you on
Absolutely.
something else.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
With a few exceptions.
So that's actually, I do have a question because I asked a bunch of questions on Facebook, and most of these questions are going to get asked tomorrow. But this is an interesting question from David Cordero, because I already know the answer to this, but I'm not sure how this deal is being looked at, out there in the community. Obviously, some people are going to like it, some people aren't going to like it. They're going to not like it for their own reasons. But he writes, being a U.S. company, why not partner with a company like ProVape or House of Hybrids? which makes me laugh a little bit. But go ahead. Go ahead.
We are. We work with a lot of U.S. companies, and I really have. I've only gotten one negative out of all of them about our work with Innokin, and it was how could you go with China? How could you which I don't fully understand, because if anything it's a win. These boards are being made here in Akron and being sold to a Chinese company. How great is that?
I don't. Are there any other companies making electronics for China? Think about that.
Yeah, well, and I had that problem when I got my visa, because one of the reasons, the reason I stated for my visit when I went to China, you have to fill out your reason for going, and mine was, electronic sales to the Chinese. And the girl kept changing it from the visa company. I hired a visa company to get my visa. She kept sending it back saying, oh no, you're going to buy electronics. I said, no, I'm going to sell them electronics. And we went back and forth on this. She just absolutely could not believe that there was an American going over there to sell the Chinese American-made electronics.
Right. It's like unheard of.
Yeah.
But you also have to give Innokin props for saying quality matters enough to us to put American boards in our products rather than whatever's available just down the street, because it's certainly not easier for them to get boards here and then ship them there rather than stay in Shenzhen.
It's a very odd relationship and speaks a lot to both companies. It really does. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else. So you mentioned clones a little bit. I heard clone. I think I did. So the boards are now being cloned. We know that.
Sort of.
Okay.
I would say the DNA.
Let's speak to sort of, but let's also speak to how you feel about that and if you're taking any action.
Well, how do you think we feel? It's tantamount to theft. So how do you feel when you get ripped off? How do you feel when you get robbed? Now,
see, that doesn't bother me as much as how badly they're being cloned, because
that's the other side.
From one perspective, they're ripping us off.
Right.
From the other perspective, they're ripping off the customers.
Yeah.
So, other than patent issues, there have certainly been any number of products that are sort of DNA-ish that we say, okay, this is like the SX350. I will fully admit that is a well-done product. To say it wasn't would just be straight up lying. But the DNA clones it's sort of like the worst counterfeit I've ever seen, a picture of on the internet, is a circuit breaker, which consists of a wire from one side to the other, and a flippy switch that doesn't do anything. So on the one hand, it bothers me that we're being cloned. On the other hand, it bothers me that we're being cloned so egregiously.
Right.
But it also bothers me that we're being cloned so badly.
Okay, so speak to that, because you have analyzed some of the clones that have come out, and what makes them bad versions?
It's not accurate. It's not as protective. It's not repeatable. It doesn't run as efficiently. It's just, I guess if you're going to take our name and stick it on your product, are you going to do it? Well, probably not. But other than having a pretty blue screen, I don't feel like it does anything well that the DNAs do well.
Right.
And that's just irritating.
Yeah. Well, it's not
On top
it's not
of being
only-
patent infringement and copyright infringement
Right.
and counterfeiting and all the
But
other things, it also just professionally irritates me.
Well, you know, and the other thing is the guy that goes into a vape shop picks up a DNA 30 HANA clone. That may be the only time he ever gets, he sees Evolve Vapor pop up on the screen, and the board fails on him in a week, or it just doesn't work right. That may be his only experience with Evolve, and look what that does, for us. I mean, we try very hard to put out a quality product. I mean, we try very hard to put out something that's going to last a long time, that's going to, that's going to maximize the vape. I mean, we really care about that. We care whether it vapes well or not. We're not trying to maximize the dollar. We're trying to maximize the vape, then maximize the dollar. So, it just what it does is it kills, it kills our name too, and that's the part that's just frustrating. I mean, maybe it's frustrating. It's a better word. I don't know if you can really say angry, but just maybe frustrated and
Sure.
Yeah, it's a shame, is what it is.
Do you have any plans on looking at some way to take action against
We already
it?
are.
Yeah.
We already are.
Yeah, we already are.
Okay.
The wheels of justice move slower than the
Yes.
wheels of cloning.
Much slower.
Yeah. All right. So finally, we'll talk about, and I know Brandon never gives me anything to give you guys, so we'll see what we can get this time. What's next for Evolve? Other than Innikin, right? Because we know that. That's been
Maybe
announced.
my part response, which is we always have new things coming.
Yeah, here we go. Yep.
And this is why I'm not allowed to talk.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't get out the duct tape for you right now.
Now we do have some interesting things coming.
Yeah, and I know they're
And you've
interesting
tried-
because I've seen them.
so
Yeah,
you've seen them
yeah.
and tried them.
Yeah.
And anything you want to say about it without being too revealing?
Well, without being too revealing, I think if you look at the spec sheet on our newest product, which is the Innikin board, and you say, now, if we were trying to do this at a, Hanamod's price point, where do you end up? I think you can draw a lot of conclusions from that. For some of the technologies that will be out.
Actually, proud of you. It's pretty good.
Okay, so I mean, I know a few of the things that you guys have coming out. I think I can ask pointedly a couple easy ones.
Sure.
Okay, step down.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, reverse battery protection.
Yes.
Okay, and that's really all I can say.
But yeah, but also like the step down, I think is more important from the Innikin customer than a guy who's cloud chasing at 30 watts, because
Right.
if he just came off of a Ego,
Right.
and he's getting 4 watts out of it, saying, well, unless you're high ohm or low battery voltage or whatever, you're going to get 12 or so. And how we indicate that is the little blinky ohms. He's going to think, man, this is way over the top. You sort of have to ease into filling rooms up with vapor.
Right,
So the Innikin one, that was definitely a must. But also, if you think about it, we've had that for a while. Kick 2 step down, and we've had that for a year.
Right.
So it's been a while coming. It's just the DNA 30 we look at as sort of a Ferrari type product, and nobody says, man, my Ferrari idle's great and it drives 15 miles an hour through a parking lot really
Right.
smoothly.
Right.
Because you don't care. You're like, it could make a horrible clatter as long as it's getting up to, at parking lot speed. Because nobody cares about Ferraris at parking lot speed.
Right.
You're stopped with women draped all over it, or you're at 200 miles an hour, or
Okay.
you're opposed.
Right. That makes sense. But I mean, I personally, I'm happy to see step down because it just, for me, it allows me to play around with different builds.
Sure.
And adjust down if I need to.
Yeah,
adjust down.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's definitely something that we're pleased to be adding into future products.
Good deal. So, any closing statements from either of you guys? Anything that you want people to know about yourselves, about your company, about what you have coming up, about the industry in general? Here's your time to say whatever you want.
If you're a $1 trillion hedge fund and you got $1 billion burning a hole in your pocket, give us a call.
Oh, I like that.
Well, guys, thank you very, very much for this. Get closer together. There we go.
right.
Thank you guys very, very much for the opportunity, for me to come in and shoot this and see what you guys do and how you guys do it. Thank you for finally introducing the world to your other half here.
Yes. Well,
It's good to finally meet you and to see what you're all about. And I hope the viewers appreciate this look into Evolve, and I certainly thank you for letting me do this.
absolutely. Thanks for coming down.
All right, thank you guys.
Can I taste your juice?
The only thing, if you put a gun to my head, I can't do is a time machine.
Okay.
I can't do a time machine.
Perpetual motion.
Fine, I can't do it.
My fear is he's going to go home and work on it.
I know.
Perpetual motion's a funny term. You can't do a perpetual motion machine as classically defined. You can launch something out into interstellar space and expect it to go till the heat death of the universe.
Well, all right.
So that's as perpetual as I would like, but this will get edited out anyway.